Running is such a beautiful, freeing sport until you make one wrong move and all of a sudden, bam, injury, pain, illness, you name it. I've been through it all, and if you are there right now and watching this video, then my heart goes out to you because it is not fun. It is not fun to be injured. It is not fun to be in pain. It is not fun to feel like you can't even do your normal daily functions, let alone not be able to do the sport that you love. So that is why we are going to be making this video today. Today I'm going to play Big Sister and be going over the top 10 running mistakes that I have made along my 3-year running journey here. Although that seems relatively new, I can assure you I have made plenty of mistakes, and today we are going to be discussing the top 10, along with a bonus one at the end, so make sure you stick around because it's a biggie. Buckle up, grab a snack, and let's go over these top 10 running mistakes. So I kind of organized this video to where it's on a timeline. So I'm gonna be starting with the mistakes I made in the very beginning of my running journey, and then we're gonna work up to the ones that I've made quite recently. So if you are not a beginner here and you feel like you have a solid understanding of the running basics, then feel free to skip ahead. If you're like, girl, I've already made all these mistakes, just skip ahead to the more quote-unquote advanced section. Or if not, and you're still curious as to what mistakes I did make, then stick around. Just a little disclaimer here, I'm not a certified nutritionist or endurance coach, so please just look at this as two best friends talking about the sport that they love the most. I really hope that you're able to leave this with some sort of knowledge. However, if you're looking for more scientifically backed facts or anything, I will make sure to leave all of the helpful links below that have helped me along my running journey. For right now, just look at this as two best friends talking over coffee about their favorite sport. This first one is wearing the wrong freaking shoes. I cannot even believe that I spent the entire first year of my running journey wearing the wrong shoes. I had no idea there was running specific shoes even. So looking back, that just makes me want to scream at past me and be like, what are you doing? You are going to get hurt. Wearing the wrong shoes can lead to shin splints, knee problems, hip problems, back problems, pretty much all the problems. If you are new to your running journey and you do not or have not gone to a running shoe store where they can help you by looking at your arch and maybe even looking at your gait and everything, please get gait tested. Please get the proper shoes. Mistake number 2 is no rest days. And this is something that I am very passionate about now because past me would have thought that taking a rest day meant I was lazy and therefore I ran every day. My biggest piece of advice to you here would be take rest days, listen to your body. It knows what it needs. It is in the rest that you are actually getting stronger and fitter. It is not in the actual workout. The workout is what is tearing down all of the barriers that you need to becoming your best, fittest self, but it's in the recovery that you're going to actually get stronger and healthier and fitter. Don't underestimate the importance of rest days. I can assure you, you will thank me later. They may suck. You may not like the fact that you have 2 whole extra hours to your day to do whatever you want, but just embrace it. Embrace the rest day and find something else to fill your time. Okay, this next one is a bit of a touchy subject. So, warning, if you are sensitive to eating and weight and all of the above, then feel free to skip this part. However, I do feel like it is a very important message that must be delivered. And coming from somebody who has firsthand struggled with this, I feel like it is very important that I share this mistake that I made with you guys, and that is undereating and underfueling. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us along our running journeys have made this mistake at least once, but some of us are a little bit more susceptible than others, and I was definitely one of those. Although I was recovered from my disordered eating situation, that's a story for another day, I promise. I have a video coming out on it very soon that's very detailed, but for now, just know that I did struggle with some eating issues in the past, and when I started my running journey, I was still very much in the process of trying to relearn my body and learn how much food it needed, and never in a million years would I have thought that running burnt as many calories as it did. It did not even cross my mind. I wasn't running for any sort of weight loss or body image issues. It was solely because it made me feel good mentally. I didn't really ever stop and think like,
oh yeah, Abby, you're burning so many calories. You need to be eating more.
And everybody around me tried to tell me this, and I didn't listen. That was when things started to take kind of an ugly turn, and I ended up losing more weight, which, as somebody that was already struggling to keep weight on, this was not a good situation. So I started doing a little bit of research, and I saw I think it was like a blog post or something that said, if you're going to be an athlete, then eat like an athlete. And I was like, wow, that is so accurate. So I started doing more research, and of course I went to YouTube, because where else am I going to go for my information? And I started watching videos of athletes, what I eat in a day, and I swear that changed my life. I know that it's not healthy for everybody to do this. However, for me personally, I felt like it gave me a better idea of how much food my body actually needs. And I'm so incredibly grateful for that. I think it was the switch that I needed to flip on. And it taught me that it's okay to eat a lot of food. It is okay to gorge on all the carbs and all the protein. And if anything, I feel like it has made me a much better, stronger runner. I'm a lot less likely to get injured. So my biggest piece of advice here would be eat like an athlete, and don't be ashamed of it. You need that fuel. You wouldn't run your car on empty. Don't run your body on empty. This one is one that I didn't really pay attention to in the beginning either, and that is overstriding. I'm only 5'3". The shorter you are, the higher your cadence should be, and I'm not saying that you should pay attention to your cadence all the time. However, I'm going to give you a little backstory as to why I think it's so important that you don't overstride. It was a very hot, sunny day in Grand Marais, Michigan. I went out on my daily run, still wearing my wrong shoes. Yes, they were Morel hiking boots. I will leave them somewhere around here so you can see a picture of them. I'm out on my run, doing my thing, and I get to this hill that was not a super big hill. It was a very nice, soft hill, and probably about 3 miles into a 4-mile run. So I was 1 mile out from my house because I did an out and back. I went to put my left foot forward when I felt a rip. The worst ripping sound I have ever heard in my entire life in my hip. And I was like, what was that? I stopped because I was like,
wow, that really didn't sound good.
That sounded like my muscle. When I stopped, I was kind of felt things out, moved my body a little bit. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm still a mile from home. So I did the dumbest thing on the face of the planet, and I continued to run home. I ran home on an injury. By the time I got home, that was when the pain really started to kick in. I couldn't even stretch the way I wanted to stretch. I had really did something very bad to my hip, and so about 10 chiropractor visits later, I was finally healed. That's just why I would like to emphasize that it is important that we don't overstride. It is much better to take
small little baby steps
than big, huge strides, because you might just rip something. And I can assure you, you do not want to do that. So I would actually recommend, if you are overstriding, to run with a metronome, or maybe look up soundtracks that match the cadence you're trying to go. I don't know if that makes any sense, but for every beat, you should be stepping. You're actually a lot less likely to get injured if you run that way. Mistake 5, running when sick or injured. I am very guilty of this. Still to this day, it is something that I feel like I could be better about. Maybe I was just thinking oh, it's already bad, so it can't get any worse than this. I'm not really sure, but just know that is a very toxic way of thinking, and you could get even more injured than your original injury if you do that. I have also made the mistake of running when I knew that I wasn't feeling 100% or felt like there might be something coming on, and I definitely paid for this. During my first marathon training block, I was running in Florida, and it was very hot. I mean, we're talking 90, 95 degrees, typical for March, April, May in Orlando. I was out on my run, and my throat was a little bit weird, but I didn't really think anything of it. It was my long run, and it was the longest run to date that I had ever done. So it was supposed to be 20 miles, and I'm running and running and running, and I felt not great, honestly. I felt horrible. I had hit a wall. I don't feel like I fueled properly. I was definitely dehydrated, and I finished that run just feeling like a big pile of shit. About 3 days later, I actually ended up feeling really, really sick. I lost my appetite, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. I thought maybe I had a flu, maybe I had a cold, I wasn't really sure. Day 7 to 8, and I still wasn't better. I'm like, what is going on? Why am I not getting better? I ended up having to go to urgent care, and turns out that I had influenza B and mono. And I am not totally convinced that running only made things worse. That is just one small little incident, not even small. I felt like I was dying. If you're not feeling good, and if a run is ever feeling harder than it should be, or you know that it should be, then just stop, go home, take a nap, take care of your body. It'll be much better. Don't run when you're sick or injured. I know that it's hard. I know that taking breaks sucks, but it'll be very, very worth it. Mistake 6 is going to be not getting enough sleep. I used to think that 4 to 5 hours was fine. I was like, I am good. I can push through it. I have a lot of work to do. At the time, I was working 9 to 6, and I liked to do my workout in the morning and then my run in the afternoon, and I had a very diligent schedule. It was workout, work, run, study, and then bed, and do it all over again. What I didn't realize was that was very tasking on my body, and you should never, if you can avoid it, get 4 to 5 hours of sleep. I really cannot emphasize how important sleep is for recovery and for injury prevention and everything. Your body cannot heal properly if you are not giving it the rest that it needs. You may think that, maybe 7 to 8 is good because that's what the average person needs. However, I would like to also emphasize that it's more than you think you need. And if you are training for any high volume race, like a half marathon or a marathon or an ultra marathon, Ironman, I don't care what it is, you should actually consider getting like 9 to 10 hours of sleep. It should be a non-negotiable. If you are training for something so big, why would you cheap out on the recovery process? It will help you feel better in your training. It will help you feel better in general. It'll prevent illness and injury. But mistake 7 is not prepping for extreme weather. When I trained for my first marathon in Florida and was running like 40 plus miles a week in extreme heat with zero hydration, I don't know what I was thinking. Was I trying to kill myself? On the flip side of that, I have also ran in 10-degree blizzards before, and I didn't have any water or food or anything. Yeah, I feel like this is something that should not be de-emphasized. Make sure you are prepping for the right weather. Don't cancel your long run, but I would encourage you to just be properly prepared for it. Make sure you have your water. Make sure you have your nutrition. Make sure you have the proper outfit. If it's cold, make sure you're wearing enough layers. If it's hot, make sure that you are doing things that are going to help cool you off, such as maybe having a cooling towel. I personally loved this when I was running in Florida. I think that it was a godsend. Make sure that you are doing things that are going to help your body to run as efficiently as it can. Mistake 8 is ramping up training too fast. Guilty. I actually did this for my last marathon. It was an 8-week training block, and granted, I thought my body is used to running long distances. It is going to be fine. 8 weeks is enough time to make sure my body is ready for this race. The sad part is I do think that my body actually would have been ready if it wasn't for something that we are going to discuss towards the end of this video. However, I do still think that it might have been a little bit too fast, and that is what caused blank to happen before the race. So I know that a lot of marathon training plans in particular recommend 16 weeks, but I would actually even encourage, if it was your first marathon, like take it so slow. Do 20 to 24 weeks, and that could be the difference between having a very solid race and having a very bad race that ends in you being injured. Obviously, it depends on what race you're doing. If you're doing a 5K, then yeah, you can get away with training for 8 weeks. But if you are relatively new to running, or maybe you're even still advanced into running, just ramping it up ever so slowly. I mean, we're talking like 5 to 10% every single week. Mistake 9 is ignoring my body's warning signs. I am unfortunately one of those people that tends to have a very high pain tolerance, and while that may sound like a great thing, you're probably like, wow, like that is so great that you can just do anything and not feel the pain, but this is actually not a good thing, because it has really gotten me in a lot of trouble along my running journey. When I'm not able to feel pain to its full potential, it often leads to having greater pain down the road. Something that I've really had to learn to be more aware of is if it just feels like a little tweak, it just feels like a little pinch, it's never just a little thing. The minute you feel any sort of pain, no matter how small it is, you should always be taking it very seriously and really, really do everything that you can to try to figure out what's going on. The truth is that your body tells you everything that you need to know. It is your greatest source of information on where you're at in your fitness levels and your training. Don't downplay the warning signs that it gives you. This isn't even just a mistake, it's a missed opportunity, and that is training at the same pace. You may be like,
What?
but for a long time, I kind of just ran to run. I didn't track my pace or any of that, and while that's great and that's fine and dandy, it's also not a great thing because you are not going to be reaching your full potential by running the same pace every single day, the same distance every single day. The truth is your body needs all those different types of runs. It needs those tempo runs, it needs those long runs, it needs those easy runs. By mixing those up, you're actually training your body to be more efficient and potentially open the door to running paces that you would have never dreamt of. Maybe you guys are ready for this, maybe you're not. Don't run in the same direction for miles and miles and miles. If you're running in a loop, switch it halfway. Why do I say this? Because when you're running in one direction over and over and over again, one side is taking more of a beating than the other. And what happens when you do that is you're probably gonna end up injured. I didn't think anything of this until my last marathon training block. I was about 3 weeks out from my marathon and I was feeling a bit lazy. So I decided that I was gonna run the half a mile loop around the YMCA 40 times to equal 20 miles. What I didn't do was I didn't change directions halfway through, and it caused an imbalance, which then actually ended up with me having a torn muscle somewhere in my glute or my hip. I'm still not even really sure where. I could barely walk, so I'm just letting you know that if you are running in the same direction around a track for 6+ miles or even 4 miles, just change it halfway through so that way you're not causing any imbalances. That is a wrap, folks. I hope this video helps you out, whether you're a beginner or an advanced runner. I hope you're able to walk away with at least one new lesson learned. Running isn't always sunshine and rainbows. I think that sometimes the media has a way of portraying it this way, and that is why I find it so important that I am very open and honest with you about not just the sunshine and the rainbows, but also the ugly side of running. I would also like to emphasize we all make mistakes, and that is okay. That is how we as humans learn. None of us are perfect. We will never be perfect. And it's when we learn to accept that and own up to our mistakes and be okay with failure that we are actually able to succeed the most. Be patient with yourself, be patient with your body. Don't get discouraged if your running journey is not where you would like it to be at the moment, because your whole entire process is not going to be linear. It is going to have ebbs and flows. There's going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be moments where you're doubting yourself, and there's going to be moments where you feel on top of the world. I guess my biggest piece of advice there would just be ride the roller coaster and have fun doing it, because that is what running is. It is a roller coaster. Don't take it as seriously as you think you need to take it, because at the end of the day, we all run to feel free, and if it's not helping us to feel free, then why even run? All that said, I really truly do thank you all for coming along on my running journey. I am so grateful that I have documented so much of my running experiences, and I just cannot wait to see where everything heads in the future. I know you guys probably get sick of me talking about running, so I promise I always love to change it up. I love making lifestyle content. I love making what I eat videos. There's going to be more of those to come, but I felt like this was a very important video for me to make, seeing that I have been on the recovery of my second ever marathon. So you guys truly are what helped motivate me and inspire me to do all this stuff. You guys are so amazing, and you're doing so many great things out there, and it makes me want to be better. It makes me want to push myself and be the best that I can be. So yeah, let's all be our best selves together. I think that is so empowering and so incredibly awesome to know that one day we are all going to be doing amazing things. That is all for today. I love you all, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!